Hi everyone, welcome back to the Navigant Credit Union Broadcast Center. I'm GoLocal News editor Kate Nagel. Thanks for joining us for the 4 o'clock show. We've had a lot of food on today since 3 o'clock with Rachel Nunes, but now we're talking to beer. Nick Garrison with Foolproof Brewing Company in Pawtucket. Thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having me back.
Because we're going to get a little update on the beer biz, and one of the reasons we have you in today is there's a big event taking place in August called Oktoberfest. And now you have an Oktoberfest brew. You poured one out a little bit here, but you've had this event. This is now the 6th year?
That's right, yeah.
6th year of looking ahead. I mean, how excited do people get about fall brews?
Well, so first off, if there's one day you're going to come visit Foolproof Brewing Company, this is the day, Oktoberfest. This Saturday, it is the 6th year, as you pointed out. We're very excited. Yeah, the whole convention of the name is kind of tongue-in-cheek, making fun of the fact that fall beers are like already out and it's 100 degrees outside. So that was kind of the genesis of the Oktoberfest name. But we do brew a special beer just for the event. It's a nice like malty fest beer. So it's got like fall flavors, but it's also remarkably refreshing.
I'm going to give it a little sniff here because yeah, I can smell a little spice. I don't smell pumpkin in there, do I?
No, there's no pumpkin. I'm sorry.
So this is already out, but you've got many more brews that are going to be featured this weekend, including one you said with pineapple.
Yeah, we have kind of our summer beer is called a Pineapple Vengo, which is a sour beer with pineapple added, and it's been a real popular beer. We're actually packaging it right now at the brewery, so that will of course be available, plus the whole regular Foolproof lineup. So we're going to have over 20 beers pouring on Saturday, if that's reason enough to come out.
The beer will be flowing. What about food?
Yes, we have 2 fantastic food trucks. The Burgundian's going to be serving up an array of waffles and other goodies, and then Citizen Wing, who's been one of our partners since the beginning, so it's great to have them back.
Wings and waffles. Well, we've had the Burgundian in here because they're trying to break out from, they're not just a breakfast food. They're all day long, good to have with beers. So tell me a little bit about the seasonal brew. So you've got the pineapple one right now. What if you're looking for that in December?
Yeah, so one of the interesting things that's happening in craft beer right now is like people always want new beer. So if you're not coming out with like either a new beer or a specialty beer as a seasonal, you're kind of behind the curve a little bit. So it's gotten to the point where almost every month we have something new to offer. So Pineapple Vengo, then we move into Oktoberfest, then we've got our Federal Hill Ale moving into October. We've got Peanut Butter Porter, of course. So there's always something coming out of Foolproof.
So talk about that, coming up with the new beers and coming up with the new concepts. Sitting around the table, tinkering a little bit. To the average person, we see the final product.
Yep.
You are there from the ground up. So talk to us about the process. Is there a whiteboard, things you think might make good flavors, to even trying ones out?
It's an incredibly informal and sort of ad hoc grassroots process within the team, and we brew in a very selfish way. We talk about what beers we like to drink, and that's usually the start of the conversation. But yeah, we look at our overall portfolio, what other beers do we have currently or have we brewed before, and it's coming out with a new beer is always the most fun thing we get to do. So it's great, and this particularly with our seasonals coming back, Oktoberfest, this is one of my favorite beers that we produce, so I love this time of year, and of course with the big festival, that's the icing on the cake.
So this coming Saturday, we'll put all the information up there. This is the 6th one. I mean, how many folks do you get turning out at these events?
Yeah, so we're hoping for over 300. Tickets are on sale right now. The event, just to go over it, is this Saturday from 3 to 7 p.m. And the big draw is the live music. We've got Take It to the Bridge, an awesome band. They're going to be out in force playing. It is rain or shine, so don't worry about the forecast. We're going to be partying regardless. I'll also mention it is a 21-plus event. It is at a brewery. So, but between the food, the live music, the games, we have a slip and slide, and of course all the beers I mentioned. There's no better way to spend your Saturday.
Have you had the slip and slide before?
We did last year, and it was a big hit, so we had to bring it back this year.
Will we see any footage on social media?
Maybe, yes. Actually, I'll probably be posting a video tomorrow from last year's slip and slide.
Do you have to sign a waiver?
You probably should, but we're pretty low key.
So talk with us a little bit about the business in Foolproof. Here we are, middle of 2018.
Yep.
Beer's still so big. How is business going right now?
It's good. We're in great shape. We're growing, coming out with a lot of new beers, entering new markets. But yeah, I'd be lying if I said it wasn't really competitive out there. There are a ton of breweries, but ultimately that's a really good thing for the consumer. If you're a beer drinker, you have so many options, and particularly now, just here in Rhode Island, for local beers, there's a lot of breweries to choose from, putting out amazing beers, and I think we're in good company.
So you talk about having, again, that pressure to come up with a new beer and the new concepts. Are there any trends in beer, so to speak, right now? People are thinking outside the box, inside the box. But anything new and different in 2018?
Yeah, it seems like every 2 years or so, like a new hot trend hits. So right now we're in the midst of the world of hazy IPAs, hazy, juicy IPAs. It's actually evolved as its own substyle known as the New England IPA. So it's really drawn a lot of attention to the New England region and our brewing scene here.
So how would you describe a hazy New England IPA?
So it's very cloudy, murky. It's unfiltered. Even though it's an IPA, it's not terribly bitter. It's actually got a lot of fruit notes to it and refreshing, and people just go nuts for that style.
Okay, so Oktoberfest this coming Saturday from 3 to 7. Looking ahead, as you said, brews coming out in the fall as well. What else can we expect from Foolproof coming up in the fall?
Yeah, so I mentioned some of the beers. We've got, after Oktoberfest, we have tons of great events at the brewery, so head to our Facebook page, foolproofbrewing.com. You can get a good sense of what's coming down the pike. Halloween is one of my favorite holidays, so we do a big haunted brewery event at Foolproof, which is always a good time.
Haunted brewery, do you dress up?
Of course, yes. I don't know what my costume is going to be yet, but I've got a little time still. So new beers, new events, new markets. It's always something fun to do, and we're open every weekend too, Thursday through Sunday. So if you haven't been, pop over, say hello, grab a beer. It's a good time.
So you're there. I mean, this is the task at hand. Do you get to get out and try other places around the region, or is it tough because you really got to be there sort of on the home front?
Yeah, I get out as much as I can, but not as much as I'd like to. With Foolproof being distributed in different markets, it's really fun for me to travel up to different states and, see our beer and also get to know the local beer scenes in those states. And I wish I traveled more, but I do the best I can.
And how big of a play is it to try to, obviously distribution is the other side of the coin. Where is Foolproof now, and where are you looking to go?
So we're in every New England state. We're also in New Jersey, and we're looking at some new potential markets. We haven't made any definitive decisions, but right now we're really just trying to grow our home base. Even in Rhode Island alone, we're pretty well known, pretty well established, but there's still a lot of room for growth just here in the Ocean States. So that's where most of our focus remains.
Because we're here in Rhode Island, we hear so much about our great local breweries. I have the impression that New England's the best for local beer, but does every region sort of feel that way? Is there just that pride in the product that's being turned out, or is New England really the best?
I'll say I'm biased. I do think New England is one of, if not the best, kind of sub-region for craft beer at the moment. But yeah, if you travel around, you go to the South, you go out to the West Coast, Colorado, Mid-Atlantic region. There's sort of like definitive styles and trends that evolve in those geographies, and I find that really interesting. So it's kind of nice to leave New England and not just be drinking those hazy IPAs. So it's interesting how beer is kind of splintering off depending on where you're traveling in the U.S. and finding different trends.
And let's talk internationally. Is craft beer big internationally, depending on where you go?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of countries that are developing or have already developed their own local craft beer scene. You also have some American breweries actually exporting their beers. There's some challenges involved with that, but I think it's caught on. Good quality beer is something that anyone can relate to, and it's a global sensation.
Well, appreciate your coming in to talk about the Saturday's event, Oktoberfest. Like the cans here. So are you very involved? Foolproof has some really great can designs. How involved are you with the design process?
I'm very much involved. I don't actually do the artwork. That's handled by our very talented brand artist. Her name's Liz Weinberg. She's actually a RISD graduate, so a nice kind of local story. But yeah, she and I work hand in hand on every design, the beer names, the copy on the cans, and again, that's one of the more enjoyable parts of what I get to do every day. So.
Well, because again, with so much product out there, a lot of times I'm sure it's going to catch the eye, and this is the Oktoberfest, the Fest beer.
Yes.
Well, I appreciate your taking the time to come in and talk with us about Oktoberfest. There's going to be plenty to talk about coming up in the fall and winter with Foolproof Brewing Company. We'll have all the information about this Saturday's event up on Facebook. But don't go anywhere. We'll be back to wrap up here in the Navigant Credit Union Broadcast Center. Hi everyone, welcome back to the Navigant Credit Union Broadcast Center. I'm GoLocal News Editor Kate Nagel. Thanks for tuning in this afternoon. We kicked off at 3 o'clock with Rachel Nunes, talking literature, food, and more. The Rhode Island International Film Festival is taking place, kicking off this evening here in Providence. We'll have some GoLocal folks there tonight. 4 o'clock, as we usually do, catch up with Jennifer Lawless, formerly of American University, heading to a chaired position at the University of Virginia to get her take on what's taking place inside the Beltway, talking about Trump and the media and more. Nick Garrison with Foolproof Brewing Company. We're here at the beginning of August, but looking ahead towards the fall, but a big summer party taking place this weekend, Ogtoberfest, gave us a little bit of the insights as to what's taking place, including a slip and slide. Would like to thank our guests for joining us this afternoon. Be sure to check out GoLocalProv.com. Big story today. Over 70 healthcare professionals disciplined by the Rhode Island Department of Health this past year. You can see that on GoLocalProv.com and more. But be sure to check us out on Facebook throughout the evening. We'll be back here in studio tomorrow with Rachel Nunes here at the